So I think a lot of times women got standards that's delusional and justification for why they single when you ask them, and men's standards are typically preferences that don't exist anymore. And it seems like the women's standards is typically looking for performance, and the men's standards is typically looking for love.
Hmm. That was it.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh,
Can
okay.
I answer?
Yeah, yeah.
What was the question again,
Go
please?
ahead.
The way it was
When
actually
when
stated.
someone says that they have standards, how do you know if it's actually
Oh,
standards or a sense of entitlement?
Okay. The way you can know that's actually standards is by their body of work. Does the results they got relate to them withholding a particular standard? It's critical for them to withhold that standard. Otherwise, they wouldn't be able to get the results. So it's about a fruit they bear. But I will say, since we're talking about relationships specifically, from my perspective, from my understanding, I could tell that a woman have standards, and it ain't always a positive connotation to it. I could tell by her loneliness, her failure to be able to acquire a fulfilling relationship. I can see the evidence that she do have standards. Now, whether those standards might be justified, realistic, or unrealistic, depends on a further, questioning, peeling back the layers. But I know oftentimes in these spaces, I'm able to get meticulous with peeling back layers and discovering that some of these standards indeed are what is keeping the woman from obtaining a fulfilling relationship, and maybe adjusting those standards will be able to allow her to get into it. So that is how I'm able to confirm that a woman has standards, whether it be a negative or positive. As far as entitlement, um, I don't have anything wrong with the entitlement, so long as the woman has enough leverage to demand the things that she feel like she entitled to. Uh, but when I have a problem is when a woman has these entitlement, but she don't have the leverage. Like she don't have the femininity. She don't have the level of cooperation. She don't have the beauty, the sex appeal, the attraction to demand such or expect a particular outcome. It's just the likelihood is very low based off of uh, the anticipated reciprocity that you can give to the person that's going to give her that entitlement. So that in a nutshell, and I'll yield.
I would say that it's actually pretty difficult to tell the difference when you're specifically when you think about women because it is very easy for a woman to sit back and make demands and nobody bats an eye. In fact, she is celebrated when she sits back and make demands, whether she gets it or not. She can say what kind of man she wants, exactly what he should be, how he should be, and most people wouldn't go outside of probably maybe the last 2 years with the manosphere and red pill and all of that. Somebody would go, "Are you sure you can even get that?" Oftentimes she is celebrated, even if she cannot get it. So it's kind of hard to see what the difference between her it being a standard and what did you say a
Entitlement.
Entitlement.
an entitlement because oftentimes most of it is entitlements because they can just sit back and make demands because they don't bear the burden of going out there and actually having to get the thing that they demand. They could just sit back and say, I want this, I want that, I want that, I want that. And nobody will fault them if they said that. But for men, though, since the burden of achieving that falls on us because we have to actually go out there and get it, you can tell if a man has a standard or not because he will say, okay, I'm picking based on this. I don't tolerate this, so therefore I won't do this. And if you can't get it, then it's just like you just, hey bro, are you sure you can get that? Like he's always questioned on whether he can get it or not. Most women aren't even questioned on it.
So, Sunny, I ask you this then: If do these women who have the so called entitlement that we're speaking of, um, do they actually are they able to achieve what they want?
A lot of times, no. but it doesn't matter to them because as long as somebody is willing to tell them, "You go, girl," sometimes they can live in that and be single and be happy. And you know how and I mean it's to a point of delusion, but even in delusion, there's a state of I don't want to say bliss, but if you can sit there, even if you don't get it, and say for instance, Trev, you got a list of demands, right? And women, and you
Right.
never get it. But everybody around you tells you there's nothing wrong with your list. You're doing you getting exactly like you. There's nothing wrong with what you asking for. You keep that standard. Don't let nobody tell you otherwise. How quickly would you be? How quickly would you realize that your list of demands are unreasonable?
Got it. Now, do you feel like that's a little bit contrary to your earlier point when you said that women could virtually live on easy mode and live off of a man, and almost any woman could do it?
Hold on, there's a caveat to what I said. I said the most beautiful woman on the planet can live, can make it from one end of life to the other end of life on and not ever have to spend a dime on herself. And I said the most
So then let's
beautiful man
let's
would
let's
never be
think
an
of
That also speaks to what I meant by entitlement as well. Having the leverage to be able to create the terms that she feel like she entitled to.
right.
And
So if she's a beautiful woman, is she entitled at that point?
no. How could you be entitled to something that somebody's giving you willingly and enthusiastically? They just throwing their money at her. You see that chick, bro? Just throwing it at her. How could you be entitled to that?
Well, I
So
can
then so
explain
then you
how
would
I
so
can,
you
I
so
can
then you would
explain
just
how
say
it's
it's
possible.
regular. So then you would just say it's standards. It's not a sense of entitlement, even though she's not offering anything.
I mean, I can
That's what you're saying.
explain how it can be entitlement.
Wait, are you saying okay? If you say all right, so what I'm gathering, you're asking, all right. So think of it this way: would a woman like that have to have a standard, even vocalize the standard, if she gets what she wants in spades? Like she never goes a day without even she don't have to ask for it because it just comes to her. She wouldn't even vocalize it. It'd just be there. She just walk out the
That's
door and
true, but she can vocalize it if she's able to be a student of the game, learn what the desired outcomes of the market are as far as men concerned, learn what they want, learn what their requirements of the woman. Once she learn it and study it, she can optimize herself to fit that demand that the man want, and she knows what it comes with, so she can make demands.
what the
Okay,
hell are
I
you
am the
talking
architect.
about?
Y'all giving them too much credit. I think
You don't know what I'm talking about?
No, I'm so
Uh-oh.
Well,
y'all
let
give
me rephrase it for people who have a lower level of intelligence. Then,
you can call it whatever
or
you want to call it. That had nothing to do with what we just said.
well, Trev said his beauty. I think you said his beauty is an entitlement. I was trying to explain it. You said his beauty, or a woman who's beautiful. Does that mean she can? What? How did you say it?
You
I
asking
was
me?
no, you was basing off of what
Or
I said.
Trev
Smith?
When I
made a
said she don't even
question.
have to make
He
demands for it,
questioned.
and you said she would be a demand because she would optimize herself to like or learn what men would want and all of this, and optimize herself to be able to get those, so then she can demand it.
All
I'm
right. Well,
just
that's
saying,
why I
like,
want.
what I'm asking is, what does that have to do with what we were talking about? Because I said that woman wouldn't even have to demand it because it's just given to her.
She
From
wouldn't. I agreed that she wouldn't have to vocalize it. But I'm saying if she were to vocalize it, she would then say, for example, I know
look at
that
me, I'm
women,
pretty.
I know that supermodels are getting XYZ treatment and XYZ's lifestyle. And she would say, based on for what all y'all want a supermodel. So you better give me the XY treatment that's the typical archetype for this woman is getting and make it a demand. And they're able to communicate that.
but what you guys are admitting is that's not women's leverage or demand. That's the fact that men are just operating in this giving like attitude. It has very little to do with the fact
Right.
that they
That's
are
what I said.
but it's our fault. It ain't necessarily them. We walking out and
Yeah.
giving much credit for existing. That's our fault. Like the
Well,
man.
I agree. It's based on the likelihood. So that if a woman is a supermodel, I think she know the likelihood of a specific type of style of treatment and a lifestyle given by a man who have the means is high based on how much she can optimize herself. She's able to extract resources at a level and make those demands.
But don't we keep contradicting ourselves when we do this in a way? Like, this is a great question. If she's gonna be entitled, if we keep telling men to work for women, and in a sense, her beauty is worth more than our dollar, and her beauty is worth more than masculinity. But then true, you'll say that it's our fault. But that's where I disagree, though, because I'll say they're delusional, and I got to correct my words because they know what they're doing. It's like saying they're dumb for expecting a man to be monogamous. Then, so if men are cheating, they should accept men cheating, right? Like if our nature is to have multiple women, and then there's
Oh, damn.
different than that loyalty. Oh, what happened? My mic went up.
You went
Yes,
out.
it did.
Yeah, it's back. It's back. It's back. It's
I'm
back.
back.
You're,
I'm
you're
back.
still, yeah, you're back.
Like if I can see why they had the should know better. Like just like they expect us to stop being polygamous and dealing with multiple women. Isn't it their fault if we cheat and they expected us to be monogamous? If we're going to flip back around and say it's our fault for setting that expectation for them when they're asking for a man who makes money, and all of us fighting for it every time on the panel. Hey man, a woman should like you for who you are, but in the next breath we'll go, hey man, build yourself up, produce, and you'll get the pick of the litter. But if you get the pick of the litter based on what you create and produce, then you're going to get a woman based on the money you have. So
But
then
see,
we cater to the sense of entitlement.
but that's what but that would mean, again, that's still our fault.
How?
Because the standard that's being created, the expectation is coming from experiences. They're able to view the life, whether it's directly or indirectly, that this does happen for women that may look like me or women, period. Women can demand all they want to. The reality is, if we're not like feeding into it, it doesn't exist. So it's
Yeah, but we're not arguing whether whose fault it is and whether it exists. I think the argument is that the woman that is is admiral and she's attractive, she can actually make demands that would feed into a sense of entitlement.
But
whether or not it's her fault or our fault is not even in the discussion. It's just whether she's capable of doing it based off of her beauty.
But truth, walk yours down. If you do give her the money, does the woman perform or become a better woman, or does she become worse?
Well, I was answering and introducing that from what the question was, the standard or the entitlement. And
Right.
what I believe, I think Darwin did say it. When you're observing a person and you're saying standards exist, their life should be consistent with that set standard. It should already be there based on proof of concept, work, whatever. The expectation that the treatment from being a pretty woman, that comes from us. So I wouldn't say that's a standard. I think that's experience. We give them that illusion or that thought process. That's not a standard. And even if you want
a standard that we set,
it's our fault.
Well, you're arguing whose fault it is. I don't think that's in question. I don't think nobody got an argument against you, whether it's the man or woman's fault. It's just that it actually is an entitlement that women have. And if they have the beauty leverage, they can make demands.
I took it from what you even used the word as leverage. See, I guess I don't perceive it that way. When I view men and women, I don't look at women as having leverage. If she's pretty, she's pretty.
You better start looking at it because a lot of them get their leverage. A lot of them is born with the leverage. Men have to go out and earn and work for our leverage.
When we're talking about what matters in life monetarily, exteriorly, sure. Human value is human value. And we all understand that a prettier woman is just going to be more perceived and more received different from mainly the men in this society. We get that. But we are giving credence to the fact that beauty is commodified. This is more valuable.
Two things can be
True.
true.
You know what?